as the new principal of Hank, I felt the absolute need for an Orthodox shul. There wasn't a shul within a radius of 10 miles of the yeshiva. And practically the first or second day that I was there, I resolved that we would have a shul and that it would be housed in the yeshiva.
60 years ago, a small group of traditional Jews, led by Rabbi Meir Fendel, established the Young Israel of West Hempstead. They met at Hank with barely a minyan, but quickly outgrew that space and built a shul across the street. 60 years later, the Young Israel is pulsating with activity, powered by the values established by the pioneering traditional Jews seeking the good life in suburbia. Tonight, we mark the diamond anniversary of the Young Israel by honoring Yossi and Sharon Wiesel as our Family of the Year. Ari Kirshblum will receive the Community Service Award, while Sisterhood presents its aishes chayil award to Adina Frankel.
Yossi and Sharon Wiesel, what a power couple being honored this year as the Family of the Year. They are super. Yossi is involved in the Chevra. He's been chair of the UJA and involved in Yom HaAtzmaut committee. Sharon has been on every committee in the shul, including being vice president of the shul, being on the board for many years. She's involved in Hank, Amit, Sisterhood. They are such a powerful couple, and yet they are so warm. You could pass them in the street, talk to them. They will lend a helping hand. They are West Hempstead.
I grew up in an out-of-town community. I moved to New York actually after college. I lived in Manhattan for 5 years, and it was almost a culture shock living there. When Yossi and I moved to West Hempstead, for the first time in 5 years, I actually felt that out-of-town feeling again. West Hempstead is unique in that it's in New York. We have all of the advantage of being in New York with that out-of-town feeling that is just so special. It's the warmth and the caring of the people in the community.
We were living in Manhattan while I worked as a resident at Mount Sinai Hospital. A colleague told me about this wonderful community in Long Island that had a Young Israel, a school, a mikveh, and an eruv. We checked out West Hempstead and decided to buy a home here. My first Shabbos at the Young Israel, I went to the Ashkama Minyan, I went to the main Minyan, I looked all around for Jonathan Klorfeld because I wanted to thank him for telling us about the community. Well, it turns out he moved to Cleveland. Now, 30 years later, I still want to thank Jonathan Klorfeld because he told us about the community, which is an ideal home for us.
Soon after we moved to West Hempstead, Yossi was put onto the shul board. As time went by, it just became more and more difficult for him to attend meetings. If he attended them at all, he came very late. One day I got a phone call from the then president asking me to be on the nominating committee for the shul board. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe they asked me to be on the nominating committee. I went to the first meeting and realized very quickly why they asked me to be on nominating committee. I had one job and one job alone, and that was to go home and tell Yossi that he was coming off the board and they were putting me on in his place.
Let me tell you about the first time I ever met Sharon. It was back in 1989 when we were looking at houses to move into West Hempstead, and we came to Duryea Terrace to look at the house we ultimately bought. And we get out of the car, we had our son Ari with us. He was at the time about a year old. And we get out of the car getting ready to look at the house, and out walks this woman from next door, 3 kids in tow. At the time she had Yoni, Adina, and Shira. And she said, you know, I'm Sharon Wiesel, and I see you're looking at this house. You don't need to bring that toddler with you and schlep him along through the house. Let me take him. Let me take him and we'll play with him while you go and enjoy yourself looking through the house. And that was what she did. She enticed Ari to come and play with her and her kids and took care of him while we looked through the house. We ended up buying that house. Yep. And that was my first exposure to Sharon and her friendliness and her kindness and her chesed. And then I found out, of course, later that she was renowned throughout the community for that.
You know, all of human history is made up of disruptors, people who've had an impact that's outsized from normal people, that have done something significant. And the same is true of a community. When we moved to West Hempstead in 1989, from then until now, There are certain people who are disruptors, and Sharon and Yossi are those types of people who've had an outsized influence, whether it be in PTA. I dare say there's not a person who has sent their kids to Hank, which is so many people, who hasn't in some way been touched, whether they know it or not, by Sharon's intense involvement, her passionate involvement in PTA. And with Yossi, I can tell you that Tina and I have been so impacted by amazing acts of chesed that are indescribable.
They lead in every aspect of the community. They're leaders with the shul, they're leaders in the school, they're leaders for every organization, UJA, Amit, anything that our community is involved in, they're there.
While together being an amazing power couple, individually they're very unique. Sharon moves and speaks 1,000,000 miles an hour and gets amazing things done in the nanosecond. Yossi stretches the day, grabbing every second, going to the wee hours of the morning, whether it is in his work with his patients, with the community, studying, learning. He's unbelievable and always with a calm demeanor. Amazing.
There was a time 3 years ago when I really learned a new aspect of Yossi. One of my children wasn't feeling well, and Yossi saw him after Shabbos, did some tests, and 3 days later said he has to be admitted to the hospital. So we took him to the hospital. We were stunned, and who shows up at night to meet us in the emergency room? Yossi. Who meets us in the ICU? Yossi. Yossi made the proper diagnosis, was so caring and wonderful. He guided us through. He really made us feel comfortable, and he really, I think, helped save my child's life. Yossi is a wonderful person, wonderful doctor. I'm a physician, and my experience with Yossi has taught me in certain ways how to be a better doctor, how to relate in a more humane way to patients.
We've been chavrusas together for 20 years. And that time we've covered a lot of really important inyanim. Politics, the matzav in Eretz Yisrael, healthcare. Okay, we've learned 6 or 7 masechtas as well. But during that time, the bond with this man and how he has grown in those 20 years is unbelievable.
Yossi and I go back a long way. I think I know him longer than anyone in the room, even his parents. We first met when he stumbled off the boat from Israel, and I could see that he was a quality young guy, even though he was older than me. I took him under my wing. I helped integrate him into American society. We eventually traveled Europe together. We went to Israel, and I helped him get into medical school. I was with him when he met Sharon, and they're quality people, a great family, and they've been a blessing to West Hempstead.
So I'm going to go back a little bit in history when I first met Yossi, Joe Wiesel. It was in the turbulent 60s and 70s, and I was going through my archives, and I did find a video that I had recorded back then. Back then I was learning in yeshiva, and Rabbi Freifeld's yeshiva Shar Yashav, and we were always looking for new recruits. I would go into the village, into Bryant Park, and that's where I first met you on the park bench. Your music was incredible. I think your trade name was either Jungle Joe or Country Yossi, I don't recall. But what attracted me to your music was the love and prayer that you exuded, the warmth that came out in your music. And you were a prime candidate for Kiruv. I worked on you for quite a while, and finally at the end I was successful in bringing you back into the fold. And Sharon, you have to thank me for that.
Stupor, Yossi woke up and found Hashem.
The Wiesels and the Isserofs are kindred spirits. We come late to everything. We fly by the seat of our pants. But I always admired Sharon. I would ask her, how many people are you having for Pesach living at your house? And I was always amazed by how many she would say. Last time I FaceTimed her just to catch up on what's going on in her life, this is what happened. Oh, hi Rifki, how are you? Yeah, it's my babysitting day for the kids, and oh, everything is just great. Oh, Judah, where'd you get that hammer from? Oh, no, thank you, but my kitchen doesn't need fixing. Put down the hammer, sweetie. Put down the hammer. Yes, good boy. Rocha, I'm going to read to you a book in a second. I'm just having my morning coffee here. Actually, I need a lot more coffee, so sometimes I just take it straight from the container. And Rifki, how's your family doing? Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah. The kids are all great. Yes. And are you having people over? Yeah, I'm having a lot of people over. Hey, this isn't my baby. Who brought me this baby? Oh, well, here, it's time for you to have a bottle. Ooh, something smells. I think somebody needs a diaper change. Rivki, I'll talk to you. I'll see you later, okay?
We have been privileged to have Sharon and Yossi as dear friends, and our community has been so privileged to have them as proactive leaders.
Sharon and Yossi are outstanding. Any shul with clear values and some smarts would be ready to swap their white parochas to have them as members of the shul.
This year's Community Service Awardee is Ari Kirshblum. What a fantastic honoree. Ari has co-chaired the Shabbos with the Stars program. What a fantastic success that has been, with multiple fantastic Jewish stars performing on Shabbosim, with the shul filled with people with lots of ruach.
For me to be able to see our shul not only prosper insofar as our membership, but also to see such a unified Shabbos as we have during these Shabbos with the Stars has been an unbelievable experience.
He's been chairing the Tefillin and Mezuzah check for many years. He has been a leader on NORPAC. Ari excels in whatever he does. He takes charge, he runs the show, and we're glad to have him.
I am incredibly humbled by this award, and I accept it on behalf of not only myself but my family for all their support anytime that I've ever done anything for the shul, but also in memory to my grandfather and to my father in particular, both rabbis who provided tremendous service to their respective communities and believed in giving to a shul. It's very easy for me to give to a shul led by such a wonderful rabbi such as Rabbi Kellemer, who drew Riva and I to this community, and now with Rabbi Galler as well, to run events and to have events that they participate in and contribute to. It's just an honor for me to participate and to coordinate all of these events with their guidance and with their support.
When we moved to West Hempstead, it was a priority for Ari that we live near the shul. And over the past 21 years, it's been a priority of his to be a really big part of that shul. Ari loves the Young Israel, and he really is very passionate about his davening and about doing things for the shul. Whenever he gets a call from the shul, he never says no.
Ari, mazel tov on this great honor. I just want to share with you and let everyone else know about all the wonderful things that you and I have in common. You and I both have the love of the same sports teams, the Mets, the Jets. We love those boxing matches together. We share the same initials, AK. We have the same birthday, 12/3. I think there's a theme going on over here. You know, we're both insomniacs. We both have trouble sleeping. We could talk for hours on the phone through the night and be functional the next day. We both have great heads of hair, or had great heads of hair. We're both great dressers. And, you know, if I didn't know better, I think that you and I could be twins in a Schwarzenegger-DeVito type of way. But in all seriousness, I just want to let you know that I look up to you, figuratively, and I think that this is a well-deserved honor, and I wish you just much success as you continue in this dedication to your service to the community and to the shul.
Ari Kirshblum is passionate about his shul and about the Mets.
So in addition to all the other great things that have happened this year, I am very proud to finally be able to say that I'm a very proud Met fan.
For those who don't know Ari in this community, I want to tell you that the best thing about him is if you really get to know him, you'll get like SBG points, you'll get JetBlue points, you'll get Hilton points, and all the other points that he'll definitely recommend, and you'll get a lot of free trips, so you should really get to know Ari very well. But besides that, Ari's a great Met fan, he's a Jet fan, he's a Knick fan. He really appreciates sports, and everything he does, he tries hard, and he gives it his utmost 100%.
Ari has played a major role in the annual NORPAC mission to Washington. Harold Lipsky was a member of his group.
He gave me excellent directions and how to deal with all the representatives. We would go to the rooms, he would take charge and be so involved in all the planning and the including involved in the bus ride and the training. When we were in Washington, he actually was so comfortable in his surroundings that he actually sat at the congressional table and put his feet up on the table.
To me, my father is the shul all-star. Even in the sukkah this past Sukkot, the one thing that was on my father's mind was making sure that the Simchas Torah Kiddush flowed well.
Mazel tov, Dad. You are a great role model for us. We are so proud of you.
Mazel tov, Dad. I'm so happy for everything you continue to do for the shul.
Mazel tov, Adina, on receiving this year's Aishes Chayil Award.
Adina moved into our community a little over 13 years ago, and almost immediately she got involved in the shul.
Some of the many positions that Adina has taken upon herself have been running our Shema Kolenu campaign, being in charge of membership, hospitality, fundraising and programming, and most recently joining our Simcha Connection and being our sisterhood vice president.
They say that if you want something done, you have to give it to a busy person, and Adina epitomizes that saying. She is always available to help with different chasadim in the neighborhood, from PTA or Amit. She is a great mother, wife, daughter, sister, and friend. And she even finds time to balance our books.
True to her name, Adina balances all of her roles with dignity, calmness, and grace.
I've had the privilege of working with Adina for the last number of years, and it is always reassuring to me when I know that she's working on a program with me. She's efficient, she's meticulous, and she keeps me calm. And Adina, if we haven't told you enough already, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Growing up, my parents were very involved in the community, in our shul, in our schools, and I grew up knowing that that was the right thing to do. You give back. So when David and I moved to West Hempstead, I knew right away that I would want to be involved in helping in any way I could. And I did get involved with the shul and the school that my kids would later attend.
Adina is a very dedicated daughter, a loving wife to David, and a fabulous mother to our wonderful grandchildren who are all here tonight to celebrate with her.
It's appropriate that Adina is recognized as the Aishes Chayil awardee. It seems like every pasuk in Aishes Chayil refers specifically to her.
I think it's amazing how much she's able to accomplish. I'm not around that much during the week, and she is able to do everything for our family and also able to do everything that she does for the shul and the community as a whole, and never seems to tire and is always able to help everyone and do whatever is needed.
West Hempstead is just a wonderful community, very warm, very welcoming. We've been here now probably about 15 years, and we've made such good friends, over the years, and it's just a really comfortable place.
Thank you, Mommy, for taking such good care of me. When I grow up, I want to be just like my mom.
Congratulations, Mommy. I find it amazing how you're able to be with us and always help us with whatever we need, and yet you have time to do other things and work for the shul, and you still have time to do everything we need. I love you.
So we've known Adina Frankel for probably close to 14 years. And in thinking about the best way to describe Adina, we decided to come up with the following acrostic.
A is for authentic. Adina is the most authentic and genuine person I know. What you see is what you get, and what we see is someone who is truly one of a kind.
D is for dignity. I've actually had the privilege of working with Adina on shul-related matters. And there were times when we had to work together on sensitive and confidential financial information. And Adina always handled everything in such a bekavadik and dignified manner.
I is for insightful. There have been many times when life has thrown us a curveball or two. And when speaking with Adina, she has tremendous insight that allows us to look at things from a different perspective and help us during difficult times.
N is for notice. Adina notices when others may need a hand. She's less concerned about her own needs and is more interested in noticing the needs of others.
A is for agreeable. When Adina is asked to help out for a particular cause, she doesn't know how to say no. She is always agreeable and willing to help in any way she can.
This is the Adina edition of Trivial Pursuits. Here is your host, Nancy Greenberg.
Welcome back to Who Knows Adina Best? First question, what is Adina's favorite hotel chain?
The Four Seasons. Any hotel that offers industrial-sized Purell and antimicrobial surfaces.
Why did Adina start working at the Young Israel?
To combine her accounting skills with her commitment to the shul. To keep her out of the mall, one of the few places she can get to without driving on the highway.
How would you describe Adina's demeanor?
She is refined, modest, and warm.
She is all that, except when she's watching Yehuda play hockey. If you're standing next to her at a game, be prepared to be black and blue. Adina works tirelessly for the Young Israel, Hank, and the whole West Hempstead community.
It isn't just that she gives her time and energy. She gives it with a warm heart and a constant smile.
We are honored to call Adina our friend. There is no one more deserving to be the recipient of the chayil Award.
I would sum it up like this. You know how when you register online for a financial website, like a bank or something like that, and they ask you to pick a profile picture to identify with your security profile? Well, I think Adina's profile picture would be that of a stealth bomber. That's right, that's because a stealth bomber is about action. It goes in, it gets the important job done, it gets out, and nobody even knows it was there. And that is Adina Frankel.